Yes, people, you know the face, you know the name. Aaron here, back again. Welcome to another episode on my channel. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, all of that good stuff for me. Remember, algorithm 3 times. I'm not going to repeat the word because every time I do it, it sounds weird. But anyway, make sure you do these things for me. You're helping the channel massively if you do these things. And listen, you've seen the thumbnail. Let's get straight down to business. Champions League quarterfinal draw is done, baby. Yes, we know who is going to play who, and these fixtures are tasty, bruv. Let's get into the first one. And it's none other than Arsenal against Bayern Munich. Arsenal versus Bayern Munich. This one is a legendary fixture. And I'm not talking about the football. Well, yes, I am, but for other reasons, of course. This is the reason why Arsenal Bayern Munich is the game that introduced me to AFTV. You guys remember that. Do you know what I mean? The Troops rand. You guys remember it. Legendary. Shout out my guy Troops, of course. So this fixture is going to be tasty. Obviously, there's the whole famous 10-2 on aggregate scoreline. Bayern Munich had Arsenal's phone number, you could say. But let's get real for a second. Can Arsenal beat Bayern Munich over 2 legs? Yes, they can, because Arsenal have had an outstanding season so far. They're doing well in the league. They're currently top of the league before they play City. They've been smashing certain teams left, right and centre. They've been scoring goals. They've been doing well. Let's not get it twisted. And of course, they've broken the curse of not getting to the quarterfinals in 14 years. They finally did it. Managed to beat Porto, and yeah, it's been a great season so far for them. Do you know what I mean? However, and I know not all Arsenal fans think like this, so I'm not putting all of you guys in one, do you know what I mean, one category. But when I hear and see certain Arsenal fans talk, and I see the way they speak about Bayern Munich, you'd think they're playing Heidenheim, or you'd think they're playing against Hoffenheim or something like that. Bro, you're playing against Bayern München. We're talking about a team that won 2 trebles in 7 years. That's insane. That is actually insane. And I don't care if people tell me it's too easy in the Bundesliga for them, because the same people that say that were the same ones saying last season that finally it's competitive. And then in the end, when Bayern Munich won, they're like, oh, it's too easy for Bayern, when really and truly, it was Dortmund that bottled it. So you can't have it both ways. We're talking about a team that won 2 trebles in 7 years. We're talking about a household name in European and global football. You're talking about a club that financially is doing extremely well, always attracting amazing footballers around the world. You can't be talking about them and saying, oh, we're going to dispose of them and get an easy 2-3-0, even though they're not going to have the fans, because as you guys know or may not know, Bayern Munich are not allowed to have their away fans to, I think, the next Champions League game, which of course is going to be away at the Emirates for Bayern Munich. So the whole stadium is going to be packed with Arsenal fans. And of course, Arsenal fans have been great for their team in the stadium this season. But let's be honest, Bayern Munich went to Galatasaray. Galatasaray for me is 20 times worse. Galatasaray, in terms of noise, they make 20 times more noise than Arsenal fans do at the Emirates. So if Bayern Munich survived Galatasaray and won there, what makes you think they're not going to survive the Emirates? Come on, man. Come on. And besides that, they've got quality footballers all over the pitch. Yes, this is not their season. And yes, they've not been good at all this season. But really and truly, when it matters the most, more often than not, Bayern Munich turn up. I mean, do I have to go through the whole team? There's quality from back to front. Some of the injured players are coming back. Alphonso Davies is back. Serge Gnabry is back. By the way, that Serge Gnabry dagger, it's going to hit different. Serge Gnabry is coming back. It's going to be very interesting to see what centre-back partnership Tuchel is going to use. I hope it's not going to be Eric Dyer, because if it's Eric Dyer, Bayern Munich can forget it. But anyway, we'll see what happens. But they've got quality all over the pitch. And there's one player that's going to be the talisman for Bayern Munich. And that is Jamal Musiala. This kid is incredible. You've all seen him. I don't need to sit here and tell you guys how amazing this kid is. I don't think there's a specific tactic to mark this guy. I don't think you can defend against this guy because the kid is so talented. He comes up with stuff on the spot, yeah, to the point where you can't prepare for stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? You can't prepare for stuff like that. I'm picking the first goal that comes to my mind is the goal he scored against Augsburg in the Bundesliga. You see them type of goals. You can't prepare for that, bro. Do you see what I mean? You can only hope that you put 2-3 man on this guy, 2-3 man on him, yeah, and just hope that he loses the ball because them type of dribbles, bro, you can't stop that. And by the way, that is what you call dribbling. Not what you see in the Premier League when people push the ball and they run behind it and people call it dribbling. No. That's not dribbling. Dribbling is what Musiala does. Just so you know. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be a very interesting game. Like I said, can Arsenal win? Yes, Arsenal can win against Bayern Munich. However, they're playing at home first. And the second leg is at the Allianz Arena. Which, if you've ever been to the Allianz Arena, you know exactly how it is to play there. It is unbearable. Your own fans are up in the sky, so you can barely hear them. Unless they're very loud, and I doubt that Arsenal fans will be louder than the Bayern Munich fans, of course. So, it's going to be very cagey. I can see Arsenal win the first leg. Don't get me wrong. I can see Arsenal win the first leg. But they better make sure that they win at least 3-4-0, because if you go into the second leg being Arsenal with a 2-0 lead or a 1-0 lead, it's curtains, because what Bayern are going to do to you in their stadium is ridiculous. So Arsenal better hope, yeah, that they absolutely wipe the floor with Bayern Munich at the Emirates. And I'm talking 4-0, 5-0, which I doubt personally will happen. So again, can Arsenal beat Bayern Munich? Yes. Can Arsenal qualify? Yes. But I think Bayern Munich will have more quality on the bench and on the pitch to make the difference. Because when it comes to making subs, I think Bayern Munich just got too much, man. Because flipping hell, man, you got Musiala playing, you can bring the likes of Thomas Müller on. You've got Gnabry and Sane playing, you can bring the likes of Kingsley Coman on. I mean, come on, that's just ridiculous. It's taking a mick, basically. So I think Bayern Munich will edge it and qualify for the semi-finals. The next quarter-final, that I want to talk about is, of course, the rematch. Real Madrid against Man City. Yet again, those two teams meet. And last season, Real Madrid was in a different space, man. Bellingham wasn't there yet. Vinny was firing, but wasn't all that. The team was aging, so to say. But then, in the summer, Dramini, Camavinga, who else they got? They've, of course, got the likes of Toni Kroos. Luka Modric is still there. Jude Bellingham has been added to the squad. Brahim Diaz is there. So their midfield is different now. Do you see what I mean? Their midfield is different with all them players. If it doesn't work with one of them, take them off, put another one on. Do you see what I mean? So the quality is there. However, you've got the likes of Man City, bro. Man City, man. Obviously, the title holders of this Champions League. They won it last season, won the treble. You're going to have to get past them, man. But I think Liverpool have shown if you press them high enough and if you press them for long periods of time during the game, you saw what happened to De Bruyne. Couldn't hack it. Had to be taken off. So I think that will probably be the tactic, to have runners on the pitch. People like Camavinga. People like Federico Valverde. People, do you know what I mean? Them type of players, if you have them on the pitch, Camavinga, Valverde, they're going to run down this midfield. And if there's one thing, apart from Rodri, if there's one thing that Man City's midfield don't like, is people having to press them or be impressed, Man City's midfield hates being pressed. So, yeah, man, I can see a very cagey game again because all of these fixtures are sick, man. So, Real Madrid also have the problem of not really having a striker. So that's probably why Jude Bellingham has been scoring all their goals, because they don't have an out-and-out number 9. Joselu is on the bench, but you can't really rely on Joselu like that. So I'm going to go. Oh, this is tough, man. This is tough. I'm going to say Madrid go through to the semis on penalties. That's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments as well, people, as I'm talking about these fixtures. The next one is Atletico Madrid. I was going to say Bilbao for some reason, but Atletico Madrid against Borussia Dortmund. A very unusual fixture. Very unusual fixture, and I think my preference is going to go towards Atletico Madrid because they just have the know-how. They have this, Spanish people call it grinta. They have this thing where they just grind out results, man. And even though Dortmund have a lot of quality, Sancho, Marlon, Füllkrug, Adeyemi, Brand, I think it's not going to be enough against that South American and that Spanish grit that Simeone has instilled in his team. And then you got people like Depay coming off the bench, Memphis coming off the bench, scoring a goal against Inter Milan. Like, you've seen the quality that they have. And then obviously you've got the likes of Antoine Griezmann, still magic at his age. I think he's 32, 33. I might be wrong, maybe he's 34. He's in his 30s and he's still producing that magic. He's still being decisive as well for Atletico Madrid. So I think, listen, I've really liked the look of Dortmund, but if you watch their game against PSV, they struggled, man. PSV was the better team by far, by a country mile, by far. PSV was the better team. So if anything, Dortmund was kind of lucky. Dortmund was very lucky to get that goal in the end. Marco Reus, who scored as well. Sancho opened the score. They were very lucky because for large periods of the game, they were very, very poor, man. I'm not going to lie, very poor. So, you know what? And Atletico is playing at home first. So Atletico have to be careful here because it's like a similar situation with Arsenal and Bayern. If Atletico do this whole defending and let's stay back and let's be safe and let's go there with the 0-0 and then we try and nick it 1-0 at the Westfalenstadion. If they use that tactic, it might be techie, bro. It might be techie because in a draw like this, you always want the return fixture to be at your stadium. And I think in this case, Dortmund has a slight advantage because even though sometimes they can't be amazing and they absorb all the pressure, all of these things, bro, the yellow wall will do the job, man. They will get behind this team like never before. So, I don't know. My preference is Atletico, but they have to be careful. They have to be very careful with this tactic that they use. They can't just, for example, now, they can't afford to do this, let's 0-0, let's 0-0 ourselves to the second leg and let's try and nick it. And then if things go sideways, let's try and finish with a draw. Let's try and go to penalties. It's not going to work against Dortmund because they also have quality that can come off the bench and make the difference. So, but I'm going to go with Atleti to win and to go through to the semi-finals. Again, let me know what you think in the comments below. And another big fixture. Paris Saint-Germain against Barcelona. This one, oh my days. People that remember the remontada, that was probably the craziest game I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I don't think the highlights or the extended highlights that we can still watch online do the actual game justice because that was the craziest game ever. And of course, Luis Enrique was the coach at the time. He was managing Barcelona. I don't know, man. I don't know. So it's going to be a comeback for him. It's going to be, old faces meeting again. Ousmane Dembele going back to Barcelona. But of course, all eyes are going to be on Kylian Mbappe. Kylian is going to have all the cards in his hand. Everyone is going to be able, or not even be able, all eyes are going to be locked on Kylian to see what he can do. He's proven it against Sociedad. He's proven it with his 2 amazing goals. But now, can you prove it at the biggest stage against one of the biggest clubs in the world? This fixture is going to be cracking. I'm telling you guys, I'm looking forward to these fixtures because, this is going to be tasty. But on Barcelona's side, even though they looked shaky at times this season in the league, lost against Real Madrid, drew a couple of games here, drew a couple of games there, they don't really look convincing, in my opinion. But it's still Barcelona. They can still pop up with a goal. They still have the likes of experienced players like Gundogan, Lewandowski. They still got the likes of Cancelo. They still have the likes of Joao Felix, even though it hasn't been his best season, and I think he's there on loan, he's going back to Atleti, they can still pop up with a goal out of nowhere. And they've got these little youngsters that can come and do a bit of magic, and Lamine Yamal, and do you know what I mean? So, this is going to be techie, man, but I think this might be PSG's year. As weird as this sounds, yeah, this might be PSG's year, and I think PSG will go through to the semi-finals because Kylian Mbappe, this is his year, man. I think he wants to go out with a bang. I think he wants to leave PSG on a high and lift the Champions League trophy with them. If he manages to do that, we're gonna have to have uncomfortable conversations about I don't want to say the 4-letter word, but listen, yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there slowly. But yeah, I think PSG will edge it and go through to the semi-finals. Let me know what you think in the comment section, people. Was I right? Was I wrong? What is your opinion? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Couple of nice fixtures coming up this weekend. Of course, Man United against Liverpool in the FA Cup. It's going to be tasty. It's going to be nice, exciting. Anyway, guys, do what you have to do. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next time. Peace.